Hello, and welcome to Zelda Speedruns 2. We have a Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys tournament race. We are in Swiss round 3. This is zelgadissan versus Eriror. In the commentary booth, we have Clearmouse and Excalibur, and I will let them take it away.
This is the match of the week, I think a lot of people think. At least maybe the match of the weekend. Two excellent players meeting in the undefeated bracket on a Saturday night / Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon. Although, yeah, you're right. Saturday night for Eri and Saturday afternoon for Zelda. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And when this matchup happened, everyone was quite clamoring for this match. So I'm really glad to see getting restreamed, and definitely looking forward to really cool and exciting matchup between these two.
Yeah, we expect to see expert gameplay today. So let's see how the good players do it. See how they got to 2-0, and how they're going to get to 7-1 or whatever.
You're talking about these guys being good players. I think both Eri and Zelda have like a slew of titles to their names. Zelda made it really far last year in the Crosskeys tournament. I think he was top 8. I think he got knocked out by Tistu earlier, and Eri made it I think quite far himself in the Crosskeys tournament. Zelda also got 3rd place in the main tournament that just recently happened. Eri of course claimed his 1st place in the NMG tournament happened recently, but just I think we can probably keep going on and on about like how good these guys are in terms of execution.
All right.
Oh, but we're off already.
We're off 10 minutes late. Both of them starting at Link's house. Both of them doing Hula start. I don't know, though with bombs in hand already, we're going to check an entrance before we get down there, which
actually very uncommonly seen. Oh wow, and we find pod already. Okay, this is already first check here in pod in logic. Good thing we have 3 hearts. It'll be a very easy and fast death warp. Dang, that mini Helmasaur dropping a heart already to make things a little bit slower for Eri.
You reckon any of these guys are excited about doing Bullock side? And Eri decides that save and quit is faster than.
You see Zelda. Yeah, you see Zelda thinking about it, but looks like he is going to opt not to. Might be a bit more. Well, I mean, I know he's done Mimic clips in the past, so maybe he just doesn't feel like it's necessary at this particular point.
I find this interesting that both runners have decided that restarting at Sank, given they already have bombs in hand, is the play. One of the reasons to do Hula is you can afford early bombs. They already have 6 bombs. Let's go to Sank.
Dude, what a start in the back of Escape.
Man, a weapon of safety and a Moon Pearl?
That's ridiculous. So like normally we're on the hunt for 4 or 5 major items, right? The sword and Moon Pearl definitely being 2 of those items. So already we have a permanent weapon to our name, so we don't have to be, I think, too creative with our resources. And also I guess for better or for worse, we're not going to hear any bunny music today.
I find it interesting that zelgadissan has been indecisive twice already. And that basically is currently the time difference between the 2 runners, is that zelgadissan has been restarted at Link's house, I think by accident, and also was slightly slower saving putting out a pod.
Can you blame him for maybe being slightly unnerved? I mean, like, how often do you get a Moon Pearl and sword like this early on in the first 2 minutes of your seed?
Oh, never. Like, this is definitely not in the reps of prep. There's also been a fair number of random chest entrances in CAC so far. Nothing of particular interest other than all the awesome stuff they already got. But that'll decrease the number of cool things to find later, I guess. Here's Spec Rock, and looks like Eri's going through, which is a totally reasonable thing to do, given they have a save and quit right in Kakariko.
Also, speaking of that permanent weapon already being put to use, right? Zelda found Castle Tower. I mean, so he can get this first chest, but I mean, imagine coming here without that sword and you just have only 4 bombs. I mean, he would just no out, right? Because you can't really, kill these guys, but I mean, this is, pretty good fortune.
And no problem. for a heart piece.
I was almost hoping there would be a Castle Tower small key, like right there, so that Zelda can keep going. I think he might go, like, continue even without the lamp. He might be that like confident up in his darkroom skills there, but I guess for better or for worse, we only found a heart piece in that first chest.
So Spec-Rock spat Eriror out on the island, which is not a particularly exciting place to go, but is one less place to go later. And might actually be logically required if the bits turn up super early. So keep that in mind if we get an early mitts drop.
Alright, so it looks like Hylia Island, the one we need boots, flippers for, just has a mystery small key. So.
And Zelga gonna follow Eri through Spec-Rock. With Sanctuary in basically the best possible location for convenience, it's unsurprising to see Kakariko connector dives. Looks like Zelgadissan's going to try the bomb jump. This is, of course, out of logic, but if it goes somewhere great, great.
Oh, speaking of great, I'm not sure how much Zelda can actually do up here. Those Lynels are a bit dangerous. He does have a safety cane of burn up, but we might need to find some magic refill first before we can actually, feasibly get over there.
Yeah, but if we get a mirror at some point, this is relatively fast Death Mountain access.
Oh yeah. And in fact, like this connector, I mean, not only do we not have to actually, open up Ganon's Tower itself, right? It's definitely a really nice shortcut. It's actually one of like the nice benefits of Crosskeys, right? Sometimes, like getting up to Ganon's Tower actually, it's like a whole minute, right? Basically, like a non-entrancy to climb up there. But here, so it's just one connector away.
Interesting to see Zelgadissan go south here. Looks like it's time to go do the hula hand that we started.
Yeah, this might be more of what Zelda is more comfortable with, or what he's at least what's more used to. All right, Eri finding the bottom of Spiral Cave, so this is going to be pretty nice. At least he's going to know where this eventually leads to. He doesn't have to follow it. We don't actually know what's in the chest, so he will have to probably at least, go through all the Spiral Cave anyway to at least get the first one, but it's only just going to be a one-time deal.
Bumper Cave at the Witch is not a great place for a terrible connector. So that's finding the exit of Spiral Cave in Kakariko is like the very indifferent news, right? Like, oh, I guess at least we don't have to walk through here a bunch of times. But all right, here's the well for Zelga. So before we get our money, we can get 5 items.
Yeah, again, I mean, just seeing the fact that Zelda has these bombs, right, is going to make this like super nice. Because one of the worst things that can happen, or at least if he just came in first immediately, right, then he wouldn't have actually had the if you came here without bombs, you couldn't necessarily get to the back and potentially isolate it. But wow, what a loaded well as well.
Yeah. So now they can go anywhere and do anything. Literally, almost like. How many items? How many entrances can't they get to?
Yeah, how often do we get traditional Dark World access under the 7-minute mark, at least for Zelda, with an actual glove and hammer and Moon Pearl?
Yeah. No, this is full. At this point, it's like who can route the seed more efficiently. They're still going to wind up opening almost all the open entrances with high likelihood. It's just who can go in the doors the fastest. And Nustria, yes, we haven't even gotten to Magic Bat yet because we got both runners noped out of Kakariko via Spec-Rock. Now we get to find out if it's an item or not. It's a map.
Does Eri go back for that? It's a map, so it's knowledge.
I would be surprised if Eri goes back for that unless.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Like that's right. He found a magic bag, so he doesn't even have the option of getting it right now. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a free get. Zelda, though, looks like he notably did not actually decide to go hooligan after he cleaned the contest at the well. So we are actually a little bit short on money for what it's worth. Not sure if we actually necessarily need it, but we are down to a single-digit number of a low number of bombs.
Yeah. I mean, getting back there is not. Oh, jeez. That's the mirror at Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, so we basically just need the boots at this point in order to get, like, everything that we basically need for, like, full access. I mean, like, full, like you convenient access, right? Like, we might need the flute, right? We might need the mitts, but I mean, at this point, like, there are very, very few places that you can get basically spit out and locked out of, right? Like, if you get spit out and locked out at like Bonk or something, then you can't go back without the boots. But everything else, I think you have access to.
That's a interestingly useless connector here. The Elder House connecting the stump to the eastern area. Not actually. I doubt that turns out to be a really useful connector, but it might. You know, if it's actually one like worth remembering. Later, maybe. $100. There we go. Solved our money problems.
Oh, it got us a little bit more money, so it gave us a little bit more breathing room. Although I guess we're not quite sure what necessarily all we still want or need to afford. But certainly if we want to go buy, or if Zelda wants to go buy bombs on his side, then he at least has the option of doing so, whereas before he definitely did not. He couldn't even afford, a couple bombs here and there.
So
Meanwhile, the Eri, though, on the other hand, he's like, what do I need money for? I'm just gonna go find a bunch of bombs in chests and replenish my stock.
Good news, bad news situation. They've got all the stuff, they got all the things, but we're gonna have to do GT today because we haven't seen Uncle drop yet. So, and I don't think we've seen the Uncle. So,
oh yeah, because I guess neither runner has been up to the Hyrule Castle area for the time being. So
we still might get out of doing GT. And Eriror, unfortunately for him, didn't do the North Light World sweep. Hasn't been up to Useless Fairy drop yet. So doesn't have his hammer in his glove, and he's leaving behind a few entrances here, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, so speaking of some of the goodies, right, that Zelda has found, so he also just ended up picking up another small key to Pod. In addition with that hammer, and the fact that we found Pod as one of our first entrances, that might be an indication of maybe something useful is in Pod.
It's not. Yeah, there's a few chests only locked by 2 keys, and also it's right here. Like it's not right here. It's right just north of Link's house. So it's not. It's worth going into multiple times, I think, just because it's the sort of place. Pod is not the sort of dungeon that you sort of do all in one big long swoop, right? You, even optimally routed, you end up going back to the front multiple times. So making a dip is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah,
and especially on Eri's side, right? He has the mirror from Mini Moldorm Cave. So any time when you have the mirror and Pod, the route is going to be so much smoother.
ZelgaDissan following the fairy ascent cave winds up.
Interesting. Okay.
I missed where this came from.
This was the slow connector.
Yeah. Where was the other end of it?
Where was the other end of it?
And entrance number 1, Desert Palace right.
Yeah, it was in Kakariko somewhere, but I think it was just one of the houses that maybe to the north.
Market. I'm just going to choose a random house with the connector in, because for our purposes, it doesn't really matter which house it is. So, ZelgaDissan, having checked the other entrance, decides to go into desert. We'll see if he follows connectors or comes back out and hops down. Eri has made it over to eastern. It's going to be a hard race to watch because they have so many options available to them. They're not going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah,
So.
not only right in terms of connectors, right? I mean, like, these guys are definitely have found lots of places, but I mean, like, just the fact that we have so many items for accessibility is, yeah, basically the whole, like, light world and dark world is pretty much open to them.
Look for that heart piece.
Yes, very exciting heart piece, and we definitely are not going to have to come back for Desert Palace after we get the boots. At least for that.
All right, Desert Palace to the left. Those two worlds.
How timely! Zelda ended up picking up 300 rupees from Desert Map Chest. So, like, he just has, which can afford him multiple trips actually over here to the digging game.
Big game is not a great rupee farm, but. And looks like Eri is making that pod redip. He's only found one of the two keys, but...
Were you saying something about the digging game not being a good rupee farm? I'm pretty sure that 300 rupees is a pretty good prize if you want money.
Look, Clear Mouse. In general, I'm right. God damn it. The low EV rupee farm, right? Let's go with that.
that is definitely correct, yeah. And of course, I don't actually think Zelda in this case needed it, but he, you can also dig up small magic pots as well, so not only is it a money refill, it's also a magic refill. Ooh, Eri, though, found a book in the basement of Pod. He might be slightly annoying the fact that he already was over there in the Desert Palace area, so it would have been kind of nice to be able to check that last entrance, but I'm sure it's not going to be the first time he's going to be over there, or the last.
No. Though it might be a hot minute before he gets back there, just because...
That is certainly true, yeah. I mean, especially, without boots, right? You've already walked all the way over there, kind of made that time investment. It's kind of difficult in order to kind of go back there if that's your only, if you only have one entrance over there left.
All right. Hype Cave for ZelgaDissan. Misses the bomb. Well done, sir. Eri is making yet another glove area check with no glove. I am kind of surprised he's putting off Witch's House and North Hyrule as hard as he is.
Yeah, this part is also pretty unfortunate too, right? Because like in that northern part as well, right? That's where actually no, do they have? Right, yeah. Like Eri doesn't have his glove, so he potentially is gonna have to isolate that one entrance.
ZelgaDissan finds Spiral Cave,
okay.
ditches it. I assume he's going to check this one house over here and then go back, given that he knows that Spiral Cave goes back to Kakariko.
Right, okay, yeah, that's right.
Get this out of the way first. Write that one down. Get mad. Have to come back here later. Eri, in the meantime, is doing the back of Escape. Or Dark Cross Room, which is a fine choice. I didn't see him do the front of Escape. Apparently
that mirror already paying off so well. We can just mirror right out of basically everything and anything at this point for Eri.
Unfortunately, I think the glove is paying. Like, I think in the situation that Eri's in, I'd rather have to take the Death Warps and have the glove already.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, like, so Eri and, and Zelda are both right on pretty low number of hearts, right? So taking a Death Warp, even in Hyrule Castle, is not going to be, like, too big of a deal, right? But yeah, like, the fact that Eri unfortunately has, like, one isolated location over in the Ice Rock Cave area because he doesn't have that glove, like, might be more costly.
Yeah, he's so far he's isolated two rocks, which kind of sucks. All right, so ZelgaDissan actually takes the Spiral Cave exit, because we might as well, it's faster than saving and quitting. And now is going to finish off Kakariko, having first gotten to Kakariko in minute 2. And with the hammer in hand, it's faster to just hop down the thief drop down than it is to actually go check this item. Powder for Eri. case we ever need a fairy.
I know we did see Magic Bat earlier, right, on Zelda side?
Yep, Bat's at Hyrule Sanctuary. So Eri will actually be able to hand that in when he gets around to doing his northern sweep. And zelgadissan is going to show us the Brothers Connector.
Yeah, because this is like the end of his path, right, for him, because he doesn't really have anything else left in this area, so it makes a lot of sense for him to follow this connector.
Yep.
All roads lead to Dark Death Mountain, apparently.
And that's the best of them, because it's the only way to get the floating island item. We already have the Hair of Big Key, so let's do this.
Speaking of though, like you mentioned that like the glove, right? Because Eri doesn't have the glove, he's kind of isolated some locations under rocks. I guess like Zelda's kind of going to get another trip over here if he wants to do the light side, unless there's another connector over here as well.
Eri showing off the value of mirror, picks up flips at the Fairy Ascension top, so it turns out the mirror is isolating mirror checks in the way that the glove is isolating glove checks.
Well, that was a really unfortunate pot on Zelga's side. Like, it hit the switch instead of the beetle, so unfortunately I had to take a little bit more of a hit. But I was gonna say, like, Eri, by the way, also found a really nice safety in Zelda's cell, which is half magic. Certainly gonna be really nice. He doesn't really have anything that really consumes a lot of magic right now, but whenever we find those rods, right, we're gonna be able to have a much easier time in terms of offense.
And it's worth mentioning before Eri winds up somewhere else in the world again, having followed another connector, that I'm pretty sure one of the castle exits is what got him up to the Turtle Rock safety exit. Which gets him, with the mirror, access to East Death Mountain, which is a bunch of entrances.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I certainly hope that Eri goes and follows in Zelda's footsteps sooner rather than later, because Zelda just pulled out the boots at the 20-minute mark here in the big chest of Hera. Wait, where was the big key to Hera?
In the well.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So Eri's gonna be able to get all that stuff, right, as we go.
So in a move that's not typical for Crosskeys, we have our Reverse Crystal at 20 minutes.
So much progress so quickly. Oh man, we got a small key to Hera. It's as unpleasant to see that drop in Crosskeys as it is in non-entrance.
With the no fire, that's debated, right? Like, here's the go
that's
to the
true, yeah.
Oh jeez, Eri goes out of Paradox and finds the TR bridge. So not only are they getting all the items, right? They're also getting all the good connectors, right? They're finding all of the connectors that lead to either places that are hard to get to, or places that are impossible to get to without following connectors, right? They've got the floating island, they've gotten the TR safety door, they've got the TR bridge ledge. This is unreal jet seed so far. Of course, they're going to get like hard last location something in a bit, but for now, be excited.
Yeah, the fact that they have so much accessibility, right, everywhere, and all of the nice, like, convenient items as well, right? At least on Zelda's side, we've got the boots, and the fact, how often do you get to see a 5-heart Cane of Burna spike key clear on Zelda, like at like the 20-some minute mark?
Jeez. And with
we're back in Turtle Rock, our favorite dungeon connector.
Yeah, so the Bonk Rocks behind Link's house was the Turtle Rock Big Chest entrance, otherwise known as probably the best one. I guess Laser Bridge is better. With a key in hand, zelgadissan just doesn't bother with the pokey, and is off. Given the way that Crosskeys works, you're unlikely to be particularly stuck for keys in Turtle Rock, so this is a gamble that often pays off.
Yeah, it's the vanilla, the key chest, or the vanilla, the key chest never ever seems to have anything, like, whenever you go open it, until, like, you decided to just ignore it for something else, and then it always has some progression. It just always seems like that. Alright, Zelda though, making sure that he absolutely does not die before he ends up getting Quake out of Chomp's room, because Chomps do 4 hearts of damage, and if you're only on 4 hearts, he will die in 1 hit.
I liked the burning use there, and then turning it off while standing on a chain chomp, like, take me now! Oh! Alright, Zelda-san using TR as a connector. Actually, in this direction, it's super convenient. So, and it goes to somewhere good. Or good-ish. Otherwise known as a part of the Dark World that is otherwise kind of inconvenient to get to. I wouldn't be surprised to see them use that connector a bunch of times.
Yeah, and especially when Zelda comes back here with the mirror, it's going to be pretty like it's going to be very efficient. Hopefully, once Eri comes here, then he's going to be able to do light and death, light and dark. This area.
Yeah.
It looks like he's already only going to do light part already.
So unfortunately, Zelda-san, having all of the options available to him, has a fair chance of leaving the mirror behind for quite some time. Problem with when the world is your oyster is that the actual pearls are quite small.
I thought we found the pearl like up to the 2-minute mark or something.
The metaphorical pearl.
Got it. Zelda does have to be a little bit careful though. One head first jumped out into a moblin, cost him 2 hearts, and and the fact that we only have 2 more hearts to our name right now is not going to be super comfortable in the Dark World.
Eri is going to get all of his things now. All of the things incoming. And it looks like Zelda-san is going to choose to do Skullwood's front before heading to Village of Outcasts. Unfortunately, going to leave behind the back entrance. Actually, what am I saying? The fire rod's certainly going to be in here.
Okay, let's watch. Right. Looks like Zelda's going to at least be a little bit more cautious here. Gyptos also do 2 hearts of damage. Looks like they'll actually made it through relatively okay.
You'd have to.
Oh man, the statue. The statues are so painful.
The hitboxes up and down in this game are all just stupid. And
Alright, okay, like if you were hoping to do this room a little bit easier with Akina Samaria, you are going to be waiting a very long time because I'll just pick that out of the vanilla Vicky chest in Skull Woods.
Alright. So, 25 minutes on the clock. What do we need?
Well, we do need some knowledge about which dungeons are crystals and pendants. Even though we've already, Zelda already did a map check, found out that Thieves Town is is a crystal, and we did at least claim the prize for Hera, which is green pendant. But we certainly do need a lot more information.
Yeah, I mean, we need to run around and find stuff, but Zelda-san, unfortunately, falling into Pinball Room. It does have a vanilla key in it, but you would rather save that key. You'd rather fall in anywhere else. But, there's a reason that's vanilla key, and because otherwise that would suck. And looks like Zelda's going to go YOLO into a different drop-down and try to find the chests on the left. There we go. Just for a spin.
Yeah, I mean, what Zelda, you just see him walking past that chest. What he really wanted to do was get this chest first, because it's slightly easier, at least in order to maneuver. After you open this chest, which is Vanilla Compass, you're gonna see all these pits, and you're not gonna be able to dash or move around as much.
Yeah, unfortunately, having already... Oh, he's opened the door on the Pinball Room already, so he's just gonna go through here. Fair enough. I didn't expect to see him go all the way around again. There he finds the bomb shop.
Alright, so that is certainly, that's more knowledge for us, meaning that we might end up seeing a traditional ice rod hunt.
At least the ice rod won't be in the pyramid track.
Eri needs to survive his trip over to the Desert Palace entrance, at least.
Please, buzzard, go away. Please, buzzard, go away.
I think the buzzers only do half a heart, so he's probably okay. But those Jazz Sandman hands, I think they do a full heart.
I enjoy that nobody knows the name of the stupid Jazz hands, guys.
Zelda finds another pot smell key. So I think is this the third pot key now on our side?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Zelda-san go back there shortly.
Oh yeah, speaking of everyone clicking the buttons behind the scenes, keeping all of us honest, thank you for tracking today, Dane and Tofile. You guys are, certainly keeping all of us honest, and not only us, like the viewers, very well informed.
And of course, in classic internet fashion, by saying out loud that nobody knew what Jazz hands guys were called, somebody will actually me, so...
All right, so Zelda actually finding his way over here to the, so he didn't do at least like the front of escape. He does have a bit more health to his name and blue mail, so death warping for him is actually going to be a little bit longer than Eri. But assuming he goes all the way to the end, he's going to be able to be picking up his half magic and powder as well.
I see no reason for him not to go all the way to the end. They've already done the back of escape, did the back of escape immediately. So
yeah. Well, so Zelda hasn't done Dark Cross, right? So but I mean, he has so much health right now. I certainly would not be surprised to see a save and quit, but I will also not be surprised to see him basically just trying to death warp out and then basically just not orphaning Dark Cross at this point.
Yeah, we'll see how excited he is about connectors. It happens that there would be a useful connector here if only he had the mirror.
Yes, that is the one thing that Zelda's missing, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, right now, it's basically for Zelda having the mirror over... Zelda having the boots over Eri, and Eri having the mirror over Zelda.
Mirror's better. By a fair margin.
Alright, Zelda's gonna do this.
Please arrest me! Arrest me! Arrest me! Yeah. I'm a criminal.
So those of you who might be more familiar with trying to do death warps, at least the way that the guard is, that one particular guard is coded, it always does half a heart of damage, regardless of the mail that you're carrying. So it's at least not going to be as bad because Zelda did have blue mail equipped.
It looks like Zelda bails on both Dark Cross and connectors there.
Okay, Zelda finding Misery Mire. So he does have boots, which means he can get it, and he does have the cane. Looks like, though, no big key and no convenient small key, so at least maybe he's going to be willing to check out the remaining entrances, and wow, what a Pyramid Fairy find. Red mail and mitts.
And now the only entrances we can't open are potentially Mire and Turtle Rock, and the back of Skullwoods between the runners.
Yeah. Have we also, and I think we don't have Mire access area immediately, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That was Ice Palace entrance.
That was, yes, indeed, Ice Palace entrance. Locked by mist, but of course they are just super conveniently, almost in the next screen over. Just
literally the next screen
couple,
over.
Yeah, a couple hammer pegs away.
Zelda picks up the smith and then is off to go do some stuff. I'm pretty sure he's seen this smith, but time for a Smith World Tour, I believe. Do you remember where the mirror is?
The mirror was in Mini Moldrum Cave, and I think that was in South Hyrule, South Light World.
Okay.
Okay, or library. It was somewhere in the light world, further south that Zelda hadn't been to yet.
Right. Can I just comment for a moment here? It's hilarious that we're returning the Smith, having not done library. Also, they have a save and quit spot in Kakariko. and they haven't been to the library yet.
They got like a sword, they got a moon pearl, they got a glove, they got a hammer. Like there's just so many options right available to them. You know, like most of the time you're absolutely right, and that you don't really have all this accessibility. So yeah, you're gonna basically take like you're gonna split all of Kakariko, right? Like north, center, and south. But here it looks like you're just getting distracted left and right. Plus you got all these connectors that you want to follow too, right? Does that get the prize? I hope.
I assume so. Eri turns in his powder for 20 rupees. It's, I guess, not surprising that it's not exciting on account of we found all the exciting things. Except for the ice rod. Yeah, always the ice rod. And ZelgaDissan gets spat out at the ice rod area, which is a nice place to be. It finds one of the entrances to Paradox.
Okay, so that's actually pretty good news for Eri, right? Because he was unable to actually open up that entrance, but I think he's already been over to Super Bunny Cave, at least for one of the other connectors. So isolating that location for him is going to be too big of a deal.
Sorry, I misread, and you're right. It absolutely is Super Bunny. Of course, he doesn't know that this is here, because if he came in the back, you can't actually go to the front. And so there's some chance that future Eri comes all the way over here to pick up that rock, and then is like, oh, fine. Eri showing us some super efficient mirror routing. And then mirror box, but you know.
It is unfortunate. Oh, but at least he's gonna be able to make those nice use of iframes though on Eri's side. He was only on 3 hearts of health, and these pterodactyls are not kind.
So in good news, bad news, Eri finds the other side of Bumper Cave, which is means the Bumper Cave connector is dead, and both ends are not anywhere good. So never have to worry about that. And ZelgaDissan finds Smith, who. I'll take you home, buddy. I'm sure I'll find your house someday.
Yeah, surprisingly short trip over to end up delivering him home.
Now, ZelgaDissan going to make a trip across that side of Light World. We'll see how long it takes to get back to South Kakariko and how dumb he feels when he gets there.
I think he should be fine. At this point, we're at just crossed like the 35-minute mark. I mean, it's been nonstop progression, right, for both these runners. I'm sure they certainly won't feel too bad for how they played this so far. Eri, though, I guess depending on when he decides to end up going over to Hera, but he might feel a little bit bad depending on, if he's thinking about maybe how early he could have gotten the boots. But he's still making very excellent progress.
Oh yeah, this is a case where it's not that the thing you did was wrong. It's just that the thing you did was not quite as right as it could have been. Lovely Samaria change up strats. I love that rune.
Yeah, of course, Zelda coming here in Thieves Town slightly after Eri, of course, but he is basically going to show us just how much faster you can do this at the front four chests with boots. Not that he's going to get anything really good out of this, but at least you got all of the useless war items faster.
Yeah, it's if you're going to pick up junk, you might as well pick it up quickly.
That's right.
All right, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the rest of ZelgaDissan's Kakariko sweep.
Speaking of though, we haven't found a bottle yet, right? Because we found Sick Kid pretty early on Zelga's side. He was the dark potion shop or something like that near the island.
He's the entrance to the right of Link's house in the Dark World. So ZelgaDissan going through the old man house, finds out where Save and Quit is going to be someday. It's in the shopping mall, which is not super. The back's in Kakariko, but just worse than the other way to get there. But we'll see if they ever need to come back here.
Yeah, at least from Zelka's perspective, he never has to come back here, right? Because he's already finished up the Light World Ice Rock Cave area, and then he got spat out here, and it looks like just one more entrance, and then assuming it's not going to be useful, he can just mark this area completely off.
Assuming it's not going to be useful.
Oh, never mind. I guess we have to come back.
Is the assumption I was trying to avoid making.
Well, okay, I guess technically we don't know if Skullwoods is a crystal pendant, right? So maybe he just never has to come back. But chances are he is going to come back here.
Zelgadissan getting the entirely useless castle tower, or castle sewers key. And Eri getting the good news about the mitts.
Yeah, and it looks like he also, found out where Meyer was. Although, unfortunately, on his side, where he doesn't have the option of going in because he doesn't have those boots. But he is going to be able to find ice palace. We still have no fire source, looks like, to our name, either Broncos or the fire rod itself. So can't actually do anything in either dungeon on both sides.
And Eri actually doing the thing in the game where the boots are the best, which is never fix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did see on Zelga's side. We were just able to dash right through those pegs with the hammer. And unfortunately, Eri had to find out this part the hard way. Speaking of convenience.
Finds Saha, but Saha is useless.
Okay, 2 small keys to Ganon's tower in the back of his closet. Interesting. It is always nice, though, to be able to, find Sahashima after you clear out the green pendant, because you have an easy turn in, right?
Especially given that spot sucks, right? Like, you don't like there.
Yeah, but at least it looks like Zelda, he's being very thorough, and, after getting over Catfish, unfortunately he still doesn't have the mirror, so he can't just mirror over and be able to at least check Sora, but assuming he comes back here on the Light World, like, he doesn't have to come, basically over here ever again.
So, Zelda getting nothing from Catfish. Eri is off into desert for the first time. Found one entrance earlier, but wasn't interested, so now we can... presumably check the big chest, the back, and then check the third way out. See if it's somewhere good. And Zelda's being very thorough at going everywhere except right next to the spawn point.
I mean, the fact that Zelda, kind of has to basically do all of this, twice, right? Because, without the mirror, he was really good in order to be able to make it over to the pyramid, but, we would really like that mirror in order to be able to mirror out and check the top 3 entrances. Or I guess only in this case top 2, because we don't have a cape yet and we don't have a Master Sword.
Oops.
Oh yeah, speaking of, we have the Cane of Samaria, and we've got the front of Turtle Rock. We haven't seen this yet.
If we haven't seen this yet, that means that Eri ducked early from South Kakariko, because it's right here. Zelgadissan not interested in getting an item? Now he's interested.
Yeah, you were talking about a world tour for the Smith side. I think he's only really ever seen, part of the world, but he's seen a whole heck of a lot of dungeons.
Cave Craig 45, nothing. Zelgadissan taking a death warp. I don't think I've ever seen someone have to take before.
And at least he's on Red Mill, right? He, at least from his perspective, on multiple fronts, he wants that mirror sooner rather than later, because you're not always going to be as conveniently able to find spikes and fireballs that do 100 damage regardless of armor, as you are going to be in that room.
All the ridiculous death warps to take. That one was quite good. And now Zelgadissan's going to get the bad news.
He could always just go back to, the first room in Total Rock and mirror out, for posterity.
Finding another way to lose a heart at a time is getting bounced by the mini Moldrams into the void.
Zelda. That was it. That was a dance of happiness that he finally was able to pick up the mirror because he was looking for it for so long.
I don't believe you, Clear Mouse.
We can ask him about that in the interview. Alright, of course, Eri, having known where the smith was, eventually has been very efficient, at least in the south world area, in this case, being able to do light and dark both at the same time. And that's right, and he also saw a small key right on this island, so he's going to be able to pick it up, and we're going to find out what it is.
Where Zelgadissan goes to a different island, goes immediately to the closest Dark World connector that he had, which was the floating island one. And now we can do East F Mountain. Eri walking to shopping mall. Walking into mini shopping mall.
Walking and swimming over, yes. Would be super nice if we could dash over here, man. And Eri's still on green mail too, right? He hasn't picked up the...
No, he's on red mail.
No, Eri?
Yeah, he's got red eyes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Alright, so that's okay. So, I was like, he seems pretty carefree about just kind of swimming over those bombers, but yeah, like, he's not worried about dying.
Cool. And I don't have the book, or Zelda doesn't have the book yet, but so Eri knows where the other end of that is. I didn't write it down in particular. He also knows where the other end of Paradox is, which is also over here. But we'll see which way out he chooses to take. Well, I guess we can get this ice rod entrance first. Zelgadissan rescuing the old man, but doing it badly and fell in a pit. At least he didn't follow to drag the old man into a pit. I would be grouchy about that, I guess. And Eri getting the bad news about the old man saving quit being at shopping mall. Still worth writing down, given that the woods is over here.
Yeah. I would imagine at some point though, Eri would go over to like the Zora Catfish area, especially with those flippers. Like that seems to be a very like entrance and item, dense location for him.
Let's see how Zelda versus Cabbages goes. I assume this is whirlpooling up to Catfish.
Good for Eri for not getting baited about the extra spawn, whirlpool spawn from the Zora. Or the Dark Zora? I guess I don't even know what those guys are called.
Yeah, no. There's one thing that I don't know in Link to the Past. It's all of floor.
Alright, so Eri at least finding Sahashua, he got the actual news from him, right? That we already knew from Zelda's side that it is the green pendant, and we know that the turn-in is, in this case, just 10 arrows, so it's not going to be super important. But Eri would really like to, for his sake, from our perspective, it would really be great if he could make his way over to Hera and get his boots.
Yeah. No, Eastern.
Zelda is actually going into Eastern?
That's with boots in hand, it'll do. It's also in one of the Death Mountain drop-down entrances, which...
Oh, if this is the end of his route, then yeah, this makes good sense.
It's not. He's got to go up and around once more, I think. But it is a medium terrible place to get back to, so... I guess... Also, he's got the boots.
Yeah, at least he has the boots. He had, we did see him item dash with the cane, to get through cannonballs, so at least things feel a little bit fast for him.
Are you going to show us the Zora check?
All right, map on the ledge. So if Eri decides to walk out of here and check waterfall, certainly would not be surprised if he decides to kind of pick up that map along the way. Guess we're gonna have to see. I mean, it's really unfortunate, just again, that he does not have the boost, so, you know, kind of getting out of his area is gonna be just a little bit more time consuming.
Yeah. Cammy, that's an interesting perspective. I feel, in fact, that that's not true. I'm pretty sure someone is ahead by quite a lot, but it's not yet clear who is.
So sort of have Ether, which is an interesting medallion. You know, like medallions really have a lot less weight in Crosskeys, because oftentimes like it only just locks like 2 locations maybe. But you know, if those locations that are locked are important, it could be game changing.
Yeah, and if as far as the sort of location that often gets left forever, despite being relatively early in logic.
Speaking of logic, we would really like to be able to find a light source at some point, like a lamp.
It's not going to be here. Hey, it's the Eastern Palace map, so when he mirrors out, he can have a look at the map and decide if he ever has to come back.
Yeah. Too bad we're in the dark world, though? Oh, no, we're in the light world. Oh, okay. That's good.
Not actually going to change his decision-making yet, so it's not worth checking the map. Right, it looks like Zelga is heading back across to East Death Mountain. Does that desert main at desert right?
Yeah, just slightly swaps.
So, Eri checking that on this way through. Eri back, or sorry, I think this might be the first time that Eri has come out there. Back to Death Mountain.
Alright, finding desert back, so chances are we might end up needing this location. No fire source still, so I'm not going to be able to do anything.
And Zelda does not yet have the big key.
That is also true.
It is. Sorry if your commentators are missing more things than usual today. These runners' routes are so divergent that their collection of stuff that they have is quite different. Eri is finally doing the thing that makes Clearmouse happy, which is
yes, of course. Everyone wants boots on the Sooner side, right? And it looks like Eri at least is going to be able to get them sub-hour, which is actually, I think, right around the average time in order to get boots and Crosskeys. So,
is it the average time to get boots, mitts, flips, pearl?
You know that is actually a good question, because we definitely got like everything physically in like the first 20 minutes.
Zelgadissan found the Paradox Cave exit ages ago, but at the time did not have a mirror. So, and it was in a terrible spot. It wasn't a terrible spot. It was right next to Old Man Save and Quit. But he hadn't rescued the old man yet. And while he was on the mountain, turned up another entrance to Paradox, I believe. So, and gets the good news that the third exit to Paradox is the one onto Turdark Bridge. It's a terrible spot for the potion shop.
At least Zelda has the mirror when he's over here, so he doesn't have to isolate any of this stuff. All right, looks like Eri though. He picked up his boots, with that hammer, a pretty very solid Moldorm fight. He picks up his green pendant. Zelda, demonstrating that unfortunately powder does not work if there's nothing around. Oh, interesting. All right. That big key to Ganon's tower is pretty buried in terms of location.
Yeah.
Which I guess we still don't know if the climb for the GT climb is required yet, because we haven't visited.
Nope. Nobody's checked freaking Uncle.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that the 2 drops left are 2 items in Ganon. So apparently we're too cool to go find that. Alright, and Zelda finds Bumper Ledge, conveniently having already found the mirror, and finds Mimikame, conveniently having already found the hammer. So...
Oh, hey, speaking of, so this is something new, right? On Eri's side, because Zelda hadn't checked Bomb Crocs, we are in Hookshot Cave. I believe Eri is capable of getting all 4 items here.
First try?
That Bari, though, also was really nice and cooperating, not having on Eri's side, but that was actually really nice movement over there. Also gets our first bottle at the 50-some minute mark.
Yep, and we know where Sick Kid is. I don't know if Eri knows where Sick Kid is. I am not maintaining separate maps for the 2 runners.
I don't actually think Eri knows where Sick Kid is, unfortunately. He's going to be able to find that relatively soon.
All right, now.
But a hookshot, though, in this case, is locking 2 bottles that we want to see.
Zelda-san tries the hover once, gives it up for a bad.
I believe that is Zelda's tradition. Is when he finds Hookshot Cave without the hookshot, but he has boots, he will make 1 attempt, and depending on how far he gets, he could get up to 3 items. But that is his only attempt.
It's a reasonable self-control.
Yeah, but in contrast though, on Eri's side, I think you called it first try, right? Eri did some really excellent movement in order to get all of the items out of Hookshot Cave.
Zelda-san mirroring. I don't know if that's one of the. I didn't believe that's one of the quick warp spots. So the setup that everybody sort of stereotypically does here is designed to get the fast mirror transition, which happens on certain vertical pixels for reasons that don't bear explaining. But saves, what is it, a quarter second or so every mirror? 34
frames. So the game runs at 60 frames per second. So yeah, a little bit over half a second.
So worth doing as long as it doesn't cost you half a second to set up, I guess. All right, Zelda-san, having already been to the pyramid once, is now coming back over here to make his mirror checks. Go. And doesn't yet have cape or master sword.
I was gonna say, we still don't have a cape, we still don't have a master sword, so we are still gonna be 1 entrance short.
Sick Kid has a pod key to add to Eri's collection of 5 pod keys now.
Yeah, so we're still missing. Oh no, we do have the pod big key. We're still missing a bow. I guess we still don't technically know if pod is a crystal or a pendant, but the fact that we haven't really even been to the back of pod probably indicates that there could be a location that they're going to head towards next.
And it's worth remembering that this is slightly more efficient than it looks like for Zelda, because Zelda hasn't yet been to the castle.
Right! So. We're going to finally find out where Ganon is today. Ooh, Eri though, finding another one of our. Okay, all right. So we both have a lot of nicely item dislocations on both runners' side. Eri found Hype Cave, which has our flute. Zelda finding a laser bridge. With the boots though, these skips are going to be a hell of a lot easier. And the fact that he has Red Veil, he's not too worried about dying. Oh, right, and Eri actually demonstrating some quickstop action, reminding us that he does have a green bottle, so if he decides to go back to pod, he is going to at least be able to break out the Bollock side.
Yeah, we'll see if he's interested. Probably. ZelgaDissan showing off the hardest maze in the game. Hold up.
Significantly different in difficulty level if you're going down versus up.
Which is correct, right? Like, good game design. Getting out is the easy way.
Yeah. That is really true. All right, okay, moment of truth. Finally on Zelda side, we are going to see what is at the Uncle's secret passage location. It is Ganon.
Excellent.
Okay.
That means that there's 2 items behind Ganon's tower climb, which is not necessarily as required as actual Ganon. So the mystery of do we need to climb GT continues.
Yeah, I was actually, that was really good that Zelda ended up not mirror bonking because it looked like he was actually right at the edge of that pyramid ledge, but at least he was able to get out and not have to return.
And we get to do mirror hobo check.
Yeah, this is really, really nice to be able to do something like this. Because, like swimming is actually a pretty difficult mechanic in this game, a little bit wobbly to control, and so if you could just, take a shortcut over here, much easier.
And now off to check potting. It's the other end of Hookshot Cave. Flinches for a moment before remembering that he's just been here.
We are actually going to have to need that hook shot today because we did find out from, at least on Ari's side, talking to the bomb shop guys, Swamp Palace is a crystal, so we are going to get a hook shot to get to the back. So chances are Zelda is going to be able to pick up his 2 bottles from there. But I guess kind of depends on what we end up finding out that hook shot.
Zelda is trying to show off, and I think screwed up 2 chest turns in a row.
It's that red mail just weighing him down. He's just not fast enough with it.
I mean, if we get a call, show people out when they do swag stuff, I feel like we have to anti-call them out or anti-shut them out when they screw up swag strats. Eri also willing to dip Eastern Palace.
So I will say the area at least is much more amiable to Eastern Palace. Like I don't think he has the same sentiments towards this place as Zelda does.
No, Zelda's on loud record. Though I don't know if he's just trying to debate the competition, as like never going to Eastern Palace. Zelda going to end his route at Pod. Is the natural ending point of all places because is it the most inconvenient entrance in the game? It's got to be close.
That's actually a good question. I mean, I thought maybe like Mimic Cave. Like Mimic Cave entrance is pretty inconvenient.
Fair. In Crosskeys, Mimic Cave is much less bad because there has to be connected to the bridge. Like there's with high probability that there's some not horrible way to get up there. Assuming you have a mirror. And you have to have a mirror.
Yeah, you said we have a mirror. Yeah, it's a really feels bad moment when you finally get yourself over there and you don't have a mirror in order to check in the cave.
Yeah. This is a dark connector for Zelda. I expect a mirror, go into Eastern, and then maybe come back and take the dark connector. My ability to decode which dark connector that was from his movement in the dark was not good enough. Apparently he knows that doesn't go anywhere fun. So.
Speaking of doing more rooms in the dark, so basically Zelda and Eri are actually going to have like a very similar performance here at Easter Palace. I think both runners came here with the boots, and both runners are also here without a mirror. I guess maybe the difference is that Eri here, with the mirror, he's going to be able to mirror out instead of taking like a quick up rope. Or maybe Zelda already have a mirror over here.
Our trackers both pointing out that it doesn't matter which dark cave it is, it's useless. So, thanks, trackers.
So we have all this stuff, right? Can we actually make any headway into a dungeon? Zelda was able to, Zelda and Eri at this point have both been able to at least clear out Hera, which was our green pendant. We found a bunch of other dungeons, right? Like we found Pod, we found Mire,
we found all of
Ice.
them. We found all of them, literally all of them except GT.
Oh, we haven't found the dam yet either.
Nope.
So how much progress can we actually make in terms of dungeons?
None.
Okay,
None progress.
All right. Just okay. So maybe this is where the seed starts to slow down a bit. Speaking of, so it looks like the Eri, at least check Ether tab with his book, finds out that there is a big key to Thieves Town, which I believe we're going to need today because Thieves Town is a crystal. Where is that second sword?
I enjoy that we still can't, despite knowing that Ether Tablet is the Thieves Town big key, we can still make none progress in actually doing it. Zelgadissan finds the dam. We still have a hook shot to make it very far in Swamp, but I would at least go in. No, I like the choice by Zelga. I mean, I think it's the obvious choice, but I like it anyway. To immediately take his flute to the Mire area. There's a bunch of entrances here, and a bunch of obnoxious to get to entrances, deep in logic. So
yeah. Certainly, at least the book at this point, or the lack of book at this point, has not slowed down Zelga because at least he was able to check the Desert Palace entrance. Eri was able to do that with the book, but Zelga, with the mirror, with the flute, with the mitts, able to come over here instead. And look what we found! We found GT. And it looks like, at least according to Zelga's screen, we've got 3 small keys. So we're going to be able to make a lot of progress, assuming Zelda can at least do some do some bomb jumping in order to kind of overcome the hook shot, the lack of hook shot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Zelda has half the items needed to go right and half the items needed to go left in logic. So Eri somehow wound up on top of Turtle Rock. I assume completed the Turtle Rock puzzle, bonked across, and it was Bombos, and decided he had enough, but...
It was Bombos, yes indeed. The one medallion that we don't have.
Zelgadissan found that the Mire entrance was Ether.
All right, yeah, that's true. Which Eri does have, by the way. So assuming upon the flute activation, the Mire area is going to be his next location. Did we say something about potentially needing to do some bomb jumps to overcome the fact that Zelda has a lack of hook shot?
Go back in there.
What? Did he decided to?
Yeah, I mean...
Interesting, okay.
I mean, I guess it's not implausible to check these last few entrances before you go nuts doing GT, but... when you find torch, hook shot of the torch on the left side of GT, just go do that.
I mean, maybe he's interested in finding if we maybe can get another Ganon Tower small key, or maybe he just wants to finish up everything.
I mean, he's got 3.
No. Looks like he's gonna take his hook shot and get right out. Well, I guess he knows where Swamp Palace is, right? He's got the flippers. He just found the hook shot. Is that his next destination?
Yes, absolutely. No, it's not. Oh, it is. Sorry, you're right. This goes to the top of... This goes to Floating Island. Floating Island goes to Swamp Palace. I guess is more...
I mean, so given how I would say relatively accessible GT location, where Ganon's Tower is, right? Zelda now has a fully clearable crystal dungeon, to his name, right? So if he wants to go back to GT later, I think it should be pretty easy.
Yeah. Eri going to show us what's in Mire Main.
Speaking of, he found the Zelda just found I think it was the last Ganon Tower small key, in Swamp. Very interesting.
The Mire front door, nothing. So Eri not going to get paid off for getting the Ether tablet from, what was that, Dark Cross? Zelda did that. Zelda should have it. Apparently he did die before he got it. We'll see if Eriror is more interested in going left.
Yeah, certainly makes sense. For at least for both of us, at least to start, with Hope Room, just because we don't really have the hook shot, and for all what's up?
Ether was Zora.
Oh yeah, Ether was Zora, right? Dark Cross was 10 arrows. Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, so both Zelda and Eri ended up doing Catfish from Dark World area, but the main difference was that Eri had the mirror at the time, so he was able to mirror out and check Zora, and Zelda unfortunately hasn't been over to that area yet.
Zelda commits to Diver down. We all have full faith that this will go exactly to plan.
Yeah, and especially, one thing about, at least in insurance versus non-insurance, the decision to do left side versus not is almost always you do left side here in swap.
Yeah. And on other left side news is, I think, given the kit that Eri had, doing Hope Room and Tile Room before going left was de rigueur. And now, unlike Zelda, is heading straight to the left side of GT. So we'll see which of these two hookshot plays pays off more. I mean, certainly Swamp pays off crystals, so it's kind of bold to assume you're not going to have to do GT. There's a lot of stuff in here. Anything exciting yet? Any good news? Or is this a bunch of dead checks?
I guess we have knowledge, at least, that we don't have to come back here yet. Some amount of progress, though. At least on Zelda's side, right? We finally are able to fully complete one dungeon. Unlike all of the other ones that we found, we were able to only partially complete.
I mean, Zelda got a lamp. Now, a lamp is not often actually required by the runners, but logically, the game had to give us all the stuff in order to get that lamp, in order to get a bunch of other stuff. So.
So speaking of the other fire source, Eri decided to continue in GT, and he found the fire rod. So with that mirror, he could actually decide to go back and do right side.
I would expect him to. He doesn't have enough keys to go to finish the dungeon. One or more of the keys. Yeah,
right, and he's also missing GT Big Key, which I think Zelda ended up finding, buried, right? Ice Rod in Swamp. Okay, that's okay. At least no Ice Rod had today. Actually, so given that we had literally we were basically running on I don't know, 30 minutes of nothing for a while. The fact that we found the lamp, we found the fire rod, we found the ice rod, and we found the hook shot. Eri just found the sword. He does have the big key to GT. Okay, all right. I think I just must have missed that earlier. Wow. Okay, that was also very fortunate to not have to he didn't get hit by the mini homeless and be able to bonk over. What else do we need in this sword?
Hilariously. He just found Master Sword the only time, just before one of the only times in the game you don't want it. So make sure to powder bomb to get sword beams. We're going to see some burn it strats. Loses the Armosis. This is not an optimally done burnout fight. And then gets... He needs to work on his burn ice Armos, I think.
It is not something that runners often get the opportunity to do.
Absolutely. I agree. But yeah, didn't let the Armos Knights start their sweep and pick up all of them once. But let's see if it pays off. Skull map, there's Bombos.
So potentially, so at least Zelda's gonna be able to have enough. So, okay, well, Zelda ended up also picking up the lamp, so he's gonna be able to full clear the entire basement of GT for sure. I'm very confident that he knows how to get to the right side, without the fire rod.
Yeah, I just hope he's not baited into doing it before going left for no reason. Right, because the fire rod's on the left side of the GT basement. So.
Right.
Oh,
my gosh, that Smalkita desert really is paying off. Well, so we just found the bow. So I think in terms of items, that should be everything that we need, right? Because we ended up finding both rods. We found the bow now on Zelda's side and we found the hook shot.
Mm-hmm.
So
each of them don't have a fair number of those things.
That is true. So combined, we have all of the items that we need. I think we might be missing like a key or two, maybe, depending on what is a crystal and what is a pendant. So I think we still don't have full knowledge of that yet. But like this seed just suddenly got super very close to completion very very suddenly.
On the other hand, they do need some keys yet. So we know Thieves Town big key is on the tablet. We do actually need the Mire big key, probably. I guess it's what, 1/3, 2/3 we need it.
Yeah.
And then 2/3 we need the Eastern big. So.
Yeah, we're gonna find out very shortly here what exactly is Desert Palace.
What is Desert Palace? It is, it's not actually clear to me. Going back to the lore questions, why are any of these things here? Why is there a palace in the desert?
Well, and why are there 3 giant worms that are just out to kill you? Like, we don't really know. But, Zelda, though, despite that he is only on Fighter Sword, he has both rods to his name. Looks like we're actually going to get treated with an Ice Rod defeat of Lammelus today.
Almost it's the one cycle missed by.
I mean, that's still pretty impressive. Ice Rod, finish right. The timing for Ice Rod is
super wonky. Yeah, Ice Rod is slow. The particle speed is slow, and you never use it, right? Like the farthest you ever shoot an Ice Rod shot, other than Ice Rod Landmo, is Trinex. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we were also treated to an Ice Rod Phase 2 of Argus as well, so Zelda is really going to be able to put this to use. Oh, he doesn't have the Fire Rod. What else? He doesn't have any other option. Never mind.
Nope. With the fire source in hand, Zelda goes off to go check Hera Basement, which is not the place I'd be the most excited to go. Eri, on the other hand, is going to find out that this is a connector to Kakariko, I'm pretty sure.
You've always wanted to go back there, right? Once you're, made your way up to Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah.
And I guess from Zelda's perspective, right? Like, this is just in the way. Like, I think he's just gonna finish up, right? Then I think he probably just has to. He doesn't have to come back to this area again.
Well, I just find it funny that Eri has now tried to open this door twice, and is like, oh, I've seen that connector like an hour ago. Sorry to interrupt, Claros.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that the fact that, Zelda does have basically everything now, that he can at least go back to GT and hopefully pick up the rest of his goodies. Wow!
Ooh.
Jeez, what a worth! Waiting in the basement of Hera, Zelda just picked up this Master Sword, so by the time he goes over to GT, assuming he actually does the basement, he's going to be untempered, which is going to be super, super nice for him. Eri, not quite sure if he has the incentive to go back to Hera Basement and do that one last check.
Yeah. I suspect that'll be a while, if ever. But we're getting pretty close to Ice Rod Hunt territory. We'll clear out all our crystal dungeons that we can, or all the dungeons we can, before we start getting excited about single locations. I think Zelgadissan basically only did that because Hera is in a kind of bad spot, and he was next door. So, Eri showing us Fire Rod strats. Gets the one cycle, saves a few seconds. Tom, the Fire Rod was left side GT, and the hook shot was also on the torch in GT. Ice Rod was in Swamp, which also required you to go to GT. So
Yeah, and the ice route was in the flooded room, so I mean, it's pretty much right on the way.
no.
Oh, it looks like though Eri is unfortunately going to draw not to Hero Basement. Because it wasn't the area, right?
It's up on the mountain.
Oh, okay. No, never mind. Okay.
It's east of mountain lower. Sorry, dark east of mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this and yeah. So Eri, like with the fire rod in hand, with the GT Big Key in hand, but after he GT Big Key, Thieves Town Big Key, this is certainly a very reasonable next on nuclear from his perspective.
And with the hammer, remembers to go get the key. And it's off to full clear. Hilariously, ZelgaDissan finally getting around to checking these two entrances right next to Link's house.
Yeah, they're just right, and like these, I think Zelda has actually been on record saying that those two entrances in particular sometimes can be like more isolated more often than not, at least from his routing. So
what you're saying is, if you're running against Zelda, you want to check those early.
That's maybe not quite that much meta.
Yeah, I think from our perspective, I mean, even from Zelda's perspective, GT is full of stuff, right? I don't see him avoiding GT for a while, or for too much longer. He does have 3 keys and easy access to pod, which might be slightly more exciting.
Yeah, actually, the pod play I think is actually probably going to be more valuable for Zelda, because I think, if I recall correctly, the book was in pod basement, which of course right now is blocking Thieves Town Big Key, right? So he does have to get that eventually. And with the bow, like with the bow, with the hammer, with a handful of pod small keys, that I think would be reasonable for him to go back to.
Your hand has had some amputations, because a handful of pod smalls would really make him happy, but
yeah,
3 is not a handful. And like, that's a dip that gets you most of the way to the back, but not quite everything.
Yeah, that is actually true. Like, you would ideally like to have like one or well, ideally you would like have the 2 more, but yeah, at least Zelda is at least in GT, so he's gonna pick up a lot more goodies that he needs for progression.
Right.
I can't remember if there was another pod key in here.
So Eri, despite being an excellent NMG runner, loves him some quick swap and just eats the heck out of those Stalfoses.
I guess for what it's worth, in non-entrance, he does he does left side first 2 Stalfos from, and then he mirrors out. So it's just for the sole reason he doesn't like to kill those Stalfos. So maybe he just is interested in killing them, with 1 item and a couple of magics, versus like trying to slash them around like what Zelda was trying to do.
Well, I think that, assuming you don't need the magic, the medallion play is often faster. I think many people are still too proud to use medallions even when they're correct. There's the fire rod, as previously mentioned.
Okay, never mind. These swords are in some very interesting locations. Eri just picked up his temper sword from the big chest of Turtle Rock.
It's a place Zelda is likely to check, I think. So he's, I think, likely to end on Buttersword. There's Zelda's first ball.
You're right. Actually, this is Zelda's first bottle. We had seen 2 bottles on Eri's side locked by the hookshot game.
And then that one. Eri has apparently given up on tracking his bottles, because why would you? But has 3.
All right, so Zelda's going to pick up his temper sword very shortly here. Yeah, so both runners now with boots, with temper sword, they're going to feel basically very, very comfortable for the rest of the seed.
And the NMG strat was mostly to say that area has quite good technical execution. Though, of course, the particular things in the NMG route he'll be more practiced on.
Speaking of NMG, though, we're going to actually see a more traditional bow clear on Ice Armos on Zelda's side.
Pew pew.
And Eri finding out that the Uncle Secret Passageway is in fact Ganon today at the hour 23 mark.
It turns out when you get all of the world open to you in the first 8 minutes,
you know, there are just some things that just don't take priority anymore.
So for those of you joining who have joined us since the beginning of the race, the runners got bombs to Link's house, found Pod as they're on the way to the hula hand drop. Both of them like doing the hula hand start. Got more bombs in Pod, but we're like, yeah, screw it, we'll go to the Sanctuary. They restarted the Sanctuary. Sanctuary's in Kakariko, best possible spot. They go to the back of Escape, and they get a sword, Cane of Burna, and the Moon Pearl, like 90 seconds in. Then Eri gets the mirror within 5 minutes, and ZelgaDissan gets the hammer and the glove within 5 minutes. And so this seed has been pretty open for both runners since the beginning.
All right, looks like Zelda though has opted to not immediately commit to the climb. You know, we did end up seeing also confirmed on Aries side, right, that the Ganon drop today is at Uncle. So no real reason necessarily to the climb,
yes.
Potentially just for 2 items. Zelda, are you stuck?
And
dear.
Did Zelda just get soft locked?
I'm not sure. Though Eri is going to be able to give us a real quick check, at least for the flat entrance that I don't think Zelda ended up coming back to.
Not yet. There's Zelga's Butter Sword. Hour and 25 in. They've had red mail for an hour. Shrug.
Yeah, and Zelda had red mail for quite some time before he found the mirror. Oh, alright, looks like though Graveyard Ledge does not actually have anything useful today. So Zelga's not going to be too hurt if he never comes back here.
Zelga off to kill Trenix for his 3rd crystal.
Yeah, this crystal is certainly known because he's going to be 5/6, and it looks like actually we have one more entrance opening, right, at the pyramid. So actually, that's actually might be another viable option for Zelda. After he finishes Trinex, he can get his big bomb and bring it over to the pyramid. And then check this last entrance as well, if he wants to.
And the bomb shop is...
Flute 5,
it's the rock. No, it's the rock between desert and dam.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which is not the most exciting place for it to be, being very far away from the flute spots. But...
Oh no, it looks like we are actually going to get another new entrance check on Aries' side, just going to be the back of Skull Woods. Something that neither runner's been able to do because this is Fire Rod blocked, and we just got Fire Rod like a couple minutes ago. Nothing useful though, unfortunately. Oh, but with the mirror pulled out, we might be able to get him a pet check right now.
Let's go do our homework. Yeah. This seed has not felt like a pedestal seed, but it's worth, I guess, checking if you're in the area.
Yeah. I mean, you're right here, and you really never know, right?
Well, and if it is a pedestal seed,
yeah,
the knowledge can be super valuable. So that's a relatively high upside play. Nice burn and dash from Zelga, and there's the Ice Palace big.
Well, it's always so hopeful when we see a big key, and then they still could be useful, right? The big chest in Ice Palace could still be locking something like another big key. Certainly not unreasonable, but it's certainly not one of those immediate big keys that would make you happier, right? Like let's say, for example, like the Eastern one or the Meyer one.
Yeah. And Eri with 5 smalls, with an actual handful of keys, and the big key, happy to come back to pod. This will be a full clear. A proper good old-fashioned.
Does Eri have the bow?
No, he doesn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is, yes, I think, okay, so there's nothing that precludes Pod from actually having another bow, for sure, because there are lots of items left in here. That being said, though, it would probably make Eri, feel a lot more comfortable if he had gone over to Desert with the small key on the right side and pick up his bow, or pick up a known bow.
Known to us.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's not like Eri knew about the bow and decided to just not get it. Although it looks like though he is looking to maybe save himself a key, and not do or at least save himself a potion and not do the right side. This is an incredibly difficult maneuver to get over here, and Eri looks like he is very successful. Oh my gosh, Eri found a bow-locked bow in Pod. What the heck? And the last spot, small key. Wow, good job, Eri. So, okay, Excalibur, you are 100% right all along. At the very beginning, I should have listened to you. We are going to be able to full clear this dungeon on Eri's side.
Eri feels like
amazing. Eri must feel through the roof at this point.
Yeah.
It still looks like though we might be missing that lamp from Swamp. So it's not that logically speaking, we still need the lamp because there is no of the dark basement, but certainly not something that's unfamiliar to Eri at this point.
Yeah. No, with loaded for bear as these guys are, I don't see they're not going to have any trouble with any of the dark rooms. It'll cost them. I mean, doing this obnoxious turtle room in the dark sucks. It sucks enough that Eri's trying to find the torches. You can do it completely in the dark. It's awful. Especially if you miss the setup. I think if you get it first try, it's not so bad. But as soon as the turtles start doing turtle things, it's no fun.
Yeah, and red mail in this case is not going to help you. But the fact that Eri does have the fire rod, is certainly going to make like the most difficult portion of the dark basement significantly easier. All right, though. Meanwhile, though, Zelda is in Ice Palace, trying to make at least a full clear. We're still looking for a big key or two. Unfortunately, the Ice Palace big chest does not have what Zelda wants.
And Zelda has done. Did he do Ice Tea Room? Did I miss it?
He did do Ice Tea Room. It was a small key to this dungeon, I believe.
Okay. Which he then used? That's slick.
It's convenient, right? I mean, where else would you look for a small key if not in his own dungeon?
All right. I'm just impressed that his Ice Palace routing is such that knowledge is good enough that having gotten a random small key along the way, managed to use it in a productive way. I feel like many people's Ice Palace routes are sort of inflexibly buried in their brain. So, sorry. And both our runners have recently gotten a crystal. So.
Yeah, it looks like at least Eri's going to go to the back. He's just going to finish up Pod because we're still looking for a couple keys on his side. And Zelda, as you said, claimed his next crystal. We have a Castle Tower small key, which I believe has not been claimed, that second chest in Castle Tower.
It's going to be a while before they get to that one, I think. Ooh. This is... If this is what I think it is, this is good routing by Zelda. So... We're going to flute down, we're going to turn in our purple chest, we're going to pick up our big bomb, we're going to go back to the castle, we're gonna check the crack, and then we can mirror over and check the top of the castle. That's slick.
That is. Zelda certainly known for his efficiency.
Womp and also womp.
Meanwhile, though, on Ari's side, actually, looks like there's a little bit more clamoring in chat. Ari did pick up the Eastern Palace big key in Pod Rupee Basement, so I believe that is everything. And Ari picked up the other Castle Tower small key in Pod Big Chest.
Let's not do that. That's got to be a glitch, but I don't know what the glitch is. He missed the hop on the end of the pad.
Okay, so Zelda, with his actual bow that was not bow locked from Desert Palace, he is going to go straight back to Helmasaur. Certainly very reasonable. I think he is just missing, in this case, Eastern Palace big key. Oh no, he's still missing a couple things. But at this point, like chances are he's just going to be able to go kill the boss. He'll find out that it's going to be a crystal, and he'll come back and get the rest of the pod stuff.
The fact that Zelda only has some of the pod keys. Makes,
oh right, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
makes doing Helma first more appealing, right? Because you've got to do Helmasaur at some point. You don't have to do the rest of it. So,
so right, and assuming, and when Zelda ends up coming back here, right, he's gonna do the bow lock side. He's gonna pick up another pod small key, along with Silver's in this case. So I think he's gonna be a little bit more comfortable opening up the rest of the chest. He is also gonna pick up his book in the basement. The question is though, when he's gonna go back up to Ether Tablet and check and get his Thief's Town big key.
Oh, is Eastern big keys in here, right?
Eastern big key, yes, is in the back.
Eastern's up on the mountain.
Big key.
Eastern's up on the mountain, so there's a fair chance that he gets Ether at that time, I think. Not 100%, but...
Yeah, it is going to be kind of a question of when he's actually end up checking that, because I think at this point, though, Eri has... does he have everything? Well, so he still needs to do Swamp, but we know that the Ice Rod is in Swamp.
And he knows he needs to do Swamp. Like, of all the places for that item to be that you haven't found, On Your Way is a great spot for it. So... And Zelda's going back in and doing some more pod. Interestingly, not doing the bow side. He didn't do that earlier. Oh, he's going to do Stealth Basement first. Right.
Yeah, like I think Zelda just ended up doing the first chest, like the shooter room, and then he hasn't touched pod since. Ooh, Eri! Oh, so close to the easy clear for Armos Knights.
Looks like zelgadissan is going to do the back first, and then come in and do the bow side, I assume. And get the unfortunate news about getting another key last, which is a bit sad, but life goes on.
So unlike Eri, well, Eri in this case lit some torches, so we were actually able to see both of them. But in this case, because of that lamp cone, we're gonna have to light any torches. And as Zelda picks up his big key Eastern Palace.
Somebody lied to me. That's not Stealth Basement.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's not where the Stealth houses are.
Yeah.
It's the Dark Basement.
Oh, that was actually a good, nice hammer yelp actually on Zelda's side, especially coming from the north too. If you mess it up, then you have to it's much longer to have to go back and kind of reset the room and try again.
Yeah, to the point where I've seen a bunch of runners go at the south exit preemptively to
yeah.
And also it's just the direction that some people are used to it.
Yeah, especially on Zelda's side. Yeah, especially on Zelda's side, he doesn't have any other option in order to get back there because he is out of pod keys.
Where are you going, bud? Oh, Stealth Basement. I dread that he pushed on the statue to bait me, and then remembered the end.
I think he wasn't intending to go to the left as opposed to the right, but
here's Eri doing Ice Palace. She still likes more than Swamp, apparently. Swamp is a little bit of a pain to get to. It's up on top of Darky Step Mountain. Oh boy. And there's a bunch of there's 3 ways up there from Kakariko, of which he knows at least 2 of them. So we'll see how long it takes him to go to Swamp. And with the 1 additional key in hand, Zelgadissan goes in again. And
yeah, it's certainly a lot of trips back into pod, but at least Zelda has the mirror, right?
Yeah. Just getting the key to get this chest.
Yeah. I cannot imagine being here and trying to do this, like basically with the handful of keys that, or the lack of small keys that Zelda has, and trying to do this with like 15 hearts of Red Veil. It would just be so bad.
So the thing we want to see Zelgadissan do is go check Ether Tablet on the way to Eastern, I think, is slightly faster. But given the fact there's only 1 item, might just do Eastern first. Yeah, Eastern first.
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable, right? Because if you just end up finding your last big key, right, like these time big key here, then why did you just basically waste your time, right, to go check the tablet?
Yeah, he has gotten most of the items out of here first, so already. So.
Oh man! Speaking of some NMG strats there, Eri decided to just slide right into this room.
Must you decided the staircase is not how you're supposed to do it?
Well, I mean, I think it depends. I'm not sure if it's like intentional or not, but I mean, like it's no worse if you get on the left side than if you just do it remotely, like without the slide.
Eri is apparently too cool for 2 of the chests in here. Goes for with the crystal switch that he chose, getting those 2 chests would take a while. But on the other hand, coming back in here sucks.
Yeah, that was a really nice cold star kill though on Eri's side. Definitely demonstrating some really high level execution.
So chat, neither is in go mode. We know where the things are, but they do not. So Eri has to go to Swamp, and then he will be in go mode. And Zelgadissan has to go to Ether Tablet.
Yeah, and of course Zelda, is making very short work of almost ties. So it's certainly very well done with those silver arrows. So I guess like the main question is going to be, we're already up here in the mountain. If Zelda is going to check Ether Tablet immediately, he will be go mode very shortly.
Swamp is Super Bunny top, and Eri is running up the mountain like a chump. I actually think this is really bad routing on his part. Eri should know 2 really fast connectors to Dark East Death Mountain from Kakariko. He's seen both sides of 2 really fast connectors directly from Kakariko to Dark East Death Mountain, rather than climbing it.
I mean, he's already here. Maybe this is just his convenience, right?
Yeah, it's easy. It's just slower than the alternative, I'm pretty sure. So Zelgadissan just got go mode.
Yeah.
That's probably all she wrote for Eri, given that go mode Thieves Town is way faster than Swamp. Does find Swamp. It's in the back, Allison.
Yeah, and I mean, right. So Zelda right now at this point just has to rescue Blind, and then bring her back over to the boss room. And Eri has, unfortunately, he's going to half go mode swamp at this point because he's still looking for the ice rod. So if he does left side first, then it will certainly still take a bit more time. But we know that the ice rod is in the back, flooded, and in the flooded chest. So once he finds that, then he should just go straight to Argus.
Yeah, unfortunately, in addition to that,
he still has to be Trinex too.
Yes, it would be Trinex as well. Admittedly, Trinex won't take very long.
That's right. Yeah.
Laser
That's right. Can't do that without the ice rod.
The Trinex entrance, the Laserbird entrance, is at the castle. It's not going to take too long to get to. It's not. In fact, he should probably do it. Yeah. Then he has to go to the uncle at the castle anyway. But it's still time that Zelda has already spent. So.
Yeah, no, that's certainly a good point. And if we actually do also see a difference, right, between Zelda having the silver arrows, because Zelda decided also had visited Desert Palace, right? As well as Pod Bolok side. So he's going to be able to have a bit of a faster Ganon fight, at least for phase 4.
And chat quite rightly pointing out to me that Harry's going to have to run to the castle to beat Trinex to get spat out somewhere useless to run to the castle to beat Ganon.
All right, so at least, the good news on Aries' side, though, is that he is, he's skipping left side, so he doesn't have to do anything useless there. It's going to save him a good minute. I'm going to dive her down on the side real quick. Squeeze right in there through those rails, picking up his ice rod, and...
That's the thing. Get out of here. Now, Eri might be tempted to check a few things, looking for silvers that are along the way. Especially
that's actually a good point, right? Because from his perspective, like, he knows that the bow that he got is not supposed to be like the logical bow, right? Yeah. So it's certainly very viable that the bow could just be somewhere like floating in swamp.
But he does skip the waterfall chest, so not that excited about opening chests. And that is crystal number 7 for zelgadissan. Doesn't quite get the 0 cycle Argus. This will be like a 150 for Zelda.
Yeah, so Zelda is like armed to the teeth at this point, right? He's got gold sword, he's got a mirror shield, which I guess still doesn't really do anything. He's got silvers, right? I mean, he's got half magic, he's got 17 hearts. Certainly do not imagine, I don't imagine him having too difficult of a fight here.
No.
Eri, though, on the other hand, he is armed with that ice rod. He is dashing straight, in this case, to go kill Trinex.
He's right next door to Ganon, as he should be.
Zelda getting sniped by a fire bat, but if you have red mail, why not use it?
Red mail, 17 hearts?
Yeah.
You can hug them fire bats all day. Harry getting a little bit impatient on the Cane of Samaria spawn and manages to get underneath the platform. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Oh, that was a nice double right before Ganon fight. Unfortunately, do that quick swap. Zelda unfortunately got to the powder first, second time this seed before he was able to get to some fire source. But no matter about missing torch glitch from now, we've got silvers, landed 2 more. Get your GGs in chat for Zelda after he finished crossing this bridge. He's going to win first place with actually an incredibly fast Crosskeys time. Holy cow, 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 50 seconds.
That is a phenomenally fast time. Both the seed was kind, and these guys are good. That time is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Eri is
Eri is very shortly behind. He's going to finish up very, very soon.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to finish up. Now, this race is on a 10-minute delay, so we'll see if the behind-the-scenes folks have gotten Zelgadissan lined up for an interview.
Yeah, so fun fact, out of all of the finishes that had happened in the first couple rounds of the Swiss, so only about 7 to 8% of the seed had finished with a sub 2 hour. And the fact that these guys have, like, basically they're going to get sub 150s, right, for both of them is just ridiculously fast times, right? It just goes to show you, like, how good these guys are.
Are they in the waiting room?
Alright, looks like though, Eri, what temper sword is going to give us a slightly different execution for Ganon, but of course we did see, demonstrated on Eri's side that there's going to be no difference between tempered and butter sword, at least in the first couple phases of Ganon.
So, chat's busy chatting about how much time Zelda lost to not picking up the mirror optimally. Haha! Speaking of which, here are the men themselves. GG's, gentlemen.
Well, GG's, guys.
Hey, GG's, thank you.
What a finish. Really impressive Crosskeys finish times.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get everything dumped on you like so fast, like the pearl, glove, and hammer, and the whole world's open. It's really awkward sometimes in Crosskeys trying to figure out what to do.
So interestingly, your perspective on the seed is you got the pearl, the hammer, and the glove super early, and the world was your oyster. Eriror's perspective is that you got the mirror jumped on him super early, and so the world was his oyster. And so you guys actually both missed the other item for quite a while, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Zelda, you got your boots at like 20 minutes, and then Eri decided, you ended up going over to Hera like a little bit later, right? Didn't get your boots till much
I think
later.
I found it like 45-50 or something. It didn't feel too bad, but it was still the knowledge that Zelda probably could have gotten them a lot earlier, which apparently is the case then. But yeah, I don't think that was really the deciding factor. The very awkward part is like the very start. Like I open Link's chest, like Link's house chest, find 3 bombs, and I immediately switch up what I usually do. It's like, okay, fine, I'll just open up the Light Bolt Hype Cave, find Pod, and like everything is out of the window. I usually just do the fake flipper, it's a witch's hut, and then go to what now was the well, and then Houlihan and stuff, and all of that just never happened. So I got glove and hammer super late.
That's exactly the same thing that I did too. I went in there, I got more bombs from that first chest of pod. I was like, screw it, let's just save and quit and go to Sank and see what happens. Like, surely I'll find money eventually. And I got to where I got to that entrance and that drop not too much longer, but yeah, normally the well would be like the first thing I do, and it still took me. It felt like, oh man, it's late, but it was still probably only like 10-15 minutes for me.
No, it was like, it was something like 12 minutes. But then, Zelga, you somehow managed to not go to the library forever.
I was on my way there like 3 separate times, and I found a connector every time and just said screw it and went. Because when you get that pearl from Back of Escape, it's like, you know what? I see I'm starting in Sank, in Kakariko. I get that pearl. I might as well just follow connector, see where they put me. And yeah, that's why you always try and clear out the area before you start following connector, so you don't miss Sphere 1 mirrors for 45 minutes.
Remember to go back. I mean, I think that following the connectors gave you a lot of information that Eriror missed. That you just didn't. It's hard to keep on the top of your mind. Go back to CAC. Go back to CAC. Go back to CAC.
There were a lot of friendly connectors.
Yeah. I mean, there was 3 separate connectors to the top of Dark Death Mountain from Kakariko.
Right, yeah. I only know of 2. I know of the super long, annoying one, and Desert.
If you bomb jump Spec Rock, it dumps you at GT.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it actually got to where at the end, I had not gone to Hyrule Castle West or Desert Main, but I knew they had to be Desert Right and the Turtle Rock safety door because all the other connectors were found. So that kind of saved me some time on backtracking as well.
Well, that's nice. You actually keep track of every single connector entrance in the game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. So we were informed via racetime.gg, Ari, that you mismarked Swamp Palace.
Or just didn't mark. Yeah. Swamp Palace, when not flooded, is one of those, oh yeah, I need to find X, and then somehow it doesn't click, I do need to mark it just in case I need to come back. I kind of have the same with Sahasrara, that I'm like so to focus on the information I get from it, rather than, oh, I might need to come back to this. I also didn't mark Skull Woods, which I luckily didn't need, but I was so busy just like going through my VOD, putting it at two times speed, and it's like, oh please, I think I found it, but it could have been last seed.
Yeah. That's...
So yeah, I spent a little bit of extra time checking some connectors and some entrances that I probably didn't need because I think I already had full information of all the dungeons, but I didn't realize it in my mind because I thought it was last seed.
So our chat was like, "Why is Eriror checking all this overworld stuff instead of doing Swamp?"
Well, there you have it.
So speaking of, I was just curious, Ari, how did you feel when you were in pod and you cracked the bowlock side without a bow?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, I was pretty happy about it because it was like there was like all of Swamp somewhere. There was Ice, there was Misery Mire, and there were just a lot of like single locations left. I still had Green Pendant to turn in, I had Red Side Desert to turn in. I found a small key there somewhere. I didn't have to tell GT because that's prolonged. But yeah, there was still a lot of really awkward spots left. So I was like, oh, whoa, that's nice. I only need like Eastern Big and Ice Drop now. And then I'm finding Eastern Big key after doing Helmet as well. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that worked out.
But yeah, there was so much going through my mind because I just wasn't sure where Swamp was.
Speaking of very convenient things, hookshot on Torch, Fire Rod left side GT, World's Your Oyster.
Yeah, I was ready to hover everywhere, but the hookshot was pretty nice.
So, ZelgaDissan, you got the hook and immediately bailed and went and did Swamp and some other things before getting back to GT. You want to talk about that decision?
I could try and make up a cool reason, like, I felt behind because of the mirror, and so Swamp was going to be my first crystal, and I was so focused on it when I saw the hookshot. The honest answer is I just totally forgot that it was a thing. Like, I was going to go bomb jump the Stalfos room with the hammer, and then the hookshot, I just found the dam too. Like, I just autopiloted, let's go to Swamp, because I really did feel behind at that point. I knew I had to be.
Yeah, I think other than that mismark, you would have been. So, unfortunately, mental errors matter in this mode. There's plenty of things to forget, and unfortunately, we get a few races every season that come down to that sort of thing. Looks like Harry's back.
Okay, I don't know what just happened.
Went Discord. So, Clearmouse, you got any more insightful questions?
I don't think I have anything else. Cause, that was certainly the bulk of it. Oh yeah, I think Zelda. We didn't mean to ask. When you did pick up your mirror, was that a dance of happiness that you finally found the mirror?
No, it was not happiness, not by any means. As I was headed over there, I was like, these are orphaned entrances, but as long as I don't find the mirror, everything's still kind of okay. And then it was exactly the mirror and nothing else, and it felt terrible.
Your mirrorless overworld routing was excellent. Like, you got all the things. You were very thorough. You went everywhere, except for Kakariko.
Yeah, it was just follow the connectors and then do the stuff around them, and then maybe I'll get back. But yeah, there were a lot of loose holes at the end because of that mirror, but I like I said, I also track connectors, but I also track item caves, and I knew I was only missing Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge. So entrances were really low priority near the end.
Right. So that's us done for the day. I just want to say a quick shout out to our restreamer for the day is Super Aardvark, who is a new restreamer, new volunteer. ZSR is always looking for more volunteers to do comms, but also to track and to do the behind the scenes, making this shit actually work. So shout outs to Super Aardvark for joining the team. Siberian has been mentoring him during the process, so thanks to him. And thanks to our trackers, Tufel and Dane, GG's runners. You guys are both excellent. We hope to see you in the upcoming weeks and eventually in the playoffs. And now Super Rodrock's supposed to give us an outro. But he's
And
new.
I will do that. Thank you very much to our commentators, our runners, our trackers, everyone making this stream possible. If you, lovely viewers, are interested in more Zelda speedruns actions, we've got that for you. We've got later today on the main stream, Zelda Speedruns, we have Game 3 of the finals of the Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup 2021, Zero Rush versus 8-Bit. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're interested in the Wind Waker Randomizer, we have Challenge Cup races at 5 p.m. on Zelda Speedruns and also at 8 p.m. on Zelda Speedruns _3. And in just a moment, I'll be sending all of us over to that first one I mentioned. We've also got Ocarina of Time Randomizer weekly race on this channel at 6 p.m. Eastern Time in just under an hour. That'll do it for us. Thank you very much and have a pleasant evening.